welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm excited for this video. Today we're doing a book haul. These are not all books that I've purchased. Yes, I do love to purchase books, but some of these, it's a mix between books I've purchased, between books that a friend has sent me, some books publishers sent me. I've accumulated a lot of books in the last couple months. So let's just dive into the book haul. The first book that I purchased and ordered was Where Sleeping Girls Lie. I am a huge fan of Ace of Spades, and so I really was dying for her first book, for her next book. I started it, but I haven't gotten super far, but I bought this from Waterstones because I love the red edges. Waterstones has really cool editions. What I love about that is the UK, they also publish things in most, I don't know, if not some things in paperback first, and they always have kind of a special edition, which is cool. Then I bought When I Think of You by Maya Ariel. I was actually really looking forward to this book. It says an unexpected spark of two former flames may force them to choose between their dreams and each other in this sweeping second chance romance. I love a second chance romance, and I believe that they knew each other in college. I guess 7 years ago. It says they had a romance in college, but something happened and now somehow they are rekindling. And I love this cover so much. I think it's so beautiful. I'm excited to start this. I have not started this just yet. Excited to start that one. I know I love a romance. I also bought This Could Be Us, and I bought this from the Ripped Bodice in Brooklyn because it's signed by Kennedy Ryan. I've already read this and loved it. Oh, I forgot that Ripped Bodice has cute little bookmarks. I bought this. I had an art copy and an art digital copy, and then I bought a completed or finished copy, and that's autographed by Kennedy because I have never been fortunate enough to see Kennedy Ryan in person, and I feel like I need to figure out how to do that. Every time I try to go to her events, they're sold out. I've read it and I've loved it already. I really love everything that she writes, so it's no surprise that I love that one. I recently bought the second book, I think, in the Chestnut Springs series, Heartless. I already have Flawless, so I bought Heartless the other day. I have not read Flawless, but I want to read the whole series. I'm kind of trying. I'm trying to be better at not buying an entire series before I've even read the first book, because what if I don't like the first book? So I'm trying to be better, but the other day I bought Heartless because I love these covers, and it was there at Barnes & Noble. A couple of these books, I bought them in celebration of something, and so I believe this was one of the ones I bought. I also bought One for the Enemy. Also, sometimes I'll go to the bookstore and I'll be like, fuck it, I'm buying 5 books today. And then sometimes I'm a little bit more cautious, but sometimes part of this is me having a fuck it day and just buying what I wanted. So I got One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. I love this cover so much. When do I not love a cover, really? Actually, there are times when I really don't love covers, but this one is fantastic, and I have been wanting to read this. It is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in modern day Manhattan. I actually love books set in New York. I love books set in New York and books set in LA, but I've been reading more books set in New York, and this one is set in Manhattan, so I'm excited to read that one. I also bought Delicious Monsters by Vasily Sambury. I have not read Blood Like Magic or Blood Like Fate. I think I have Blood Like Magic, but I don't think I've read it yet. I love this cover so much. Also, I have been reading a lot of YA, mainly YA fantasy. This was in the YA section and it sounded really awesome, and it says Daisy sees dead people. You have me hooked right there. Something impossible to forget in bustling ghost-packed Toronto. She usually manages to deal with her unwanted ability, but she's completely unprepared to be dumped by her boyfriend. So when her mother inherits a secluded mansion in northern Ontario where she spent her childhood summers, Daisy jumps at the chance to escape. She decides the new season of her popular haunted web series will uncover what happened to a young black girl in the mansion 10 years prior. Oh, okay, so Daisy's story, and then this other girl named Brittany, which is 10 years later. A decade later, Brittany is desperate to get out from under the thumb of her abusive mother, a best-selling author who claims her stay at Miracle Mansion allowed her to see the error of her ways. As Brittany investigates the mansion in the present, Daisy's story runs parallel in the past, both timelines propelling the girls to face the most. I love dual timeline stuff. I love dual timeline and non-linear timeline things, and I didn't realize that was, I read it quick summary. I don't really like reading summaries that much because I feel like sometimes they can ruin the book. I'm so excited for this one. I need to do a whole black horror vlog because I love reading black horror, and I have a couple other black horror books in this haul, and so I need to read that one. I also got, speaking of black horror, The Black Girl Survives in this one. This cover, I think I say this with all of them, I'm sure, but this cover, one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. From the nails to the rings to the braids, it's just, can we just take a second for the cover? beautiful. And to have a Black girl front and center like that, and every story, this is a short story collection, every story in this collection stars a Black girl who does not die. And we love that. We love that. Beautiful. I also got a book called Weird Black Girls. It's another short story collection. I'm not a huge short story person, but like these books were calling my name. And so this is just like a collection of stories that are set in kind of like weird literary fantastical world starring Black girls. And I love that. I also got Bryn Chapecko's Silver Under Nightfall. I believe this has a polyamorous relationship and full of court intrigue. This is a queer romance. Queer romance, terrifying monsters. This epic fantasy will appeal to fans of Samantha Shannon's The Priory of the Orange Tree and the adult animated series Castlevania. I've heard really, really good things about this book. I say it in all my videos. I love vampires, so I'm here for this. I also bought Piglet. I will say this was a purely cover buy. I've said I've loved the covers of like everything I've purchased, and it's true. And you know, they say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but like, come on, covers are just getting better and better. So I got Piglet. There's something to me about novels about women and food, and this is that. It says an elegant, razor-sharp debut about women's ambitions and appetites and the truth about having it all. And oh, you hear that like crack? The spine. Love this cover. I also got The Prison Healer. Again, another YA fantasy series that I have been wanting to pick up. I saw a couple people read it on their channel. They didn't give it great reviews, but they said the ending was really good, and it's a trilogy. So I am all about YA fantasy series, so I picked this one up. I also got Fathomfolk. I was so interested in this story because it's basically about like, there's these people that live in this tower and they live high up, and they literally are looking down on the people below them. Welcome to Tiankawi, shining pearl of human civilization and a safe haven for those fleeing civil unrest, or at least that's how it first appears. But in the semi-flooded city, humans are, quite literally, on top, peering down from shining towers and aerial walkways on the Fathomfolk, sirens, sea witches, kelpies, and kappas who live in the polluted waters below. There's like a undersea world, and then on top of the humans. A thrilling fantasy of diaspora and dragons, Fathomfolk is an unmissable debut. If you're hungry for a beautiful Southeast Asian influenced fantasy with razor-sharp edges, this book is for you. I'm there. It sounds so good. I also got Emperor and the Endless Palace. Now, this is one of those books. I'm realizing I also love books that span different timelines, or like the trope of we would be together in every timeline, or we will find each other in every universe. And that's kind of like what this is about. This is also another queer story, and it takes place in three different places in the year 4 BCE, in 1740, and in present day Los Angeles. Across these seemingly unrelated timelines woven together only by the twists and turns of fate, two men are reborn lifetime after lifetime. I love stories like this. Within the treacherous walls of an ancient palace and the boundless forests of the Asian wilderness to the heart-pounding cement floors of underground rave scenes, our lovers are inexplicably drawn to each other, constantly tested by the worlds around them. And the cover, so excited. It reminds me of that episode of Black Mirror, Hang the DJ, and that is my favorite episode. That idea of we are having to find each other in every single, in their case, simulation, but every single universe. I love it, love it. I also bought The Women by Kristen Hanna. I have read half of 2 of Kristen Hanna's books. I've never completed an entire novel by Kristen Hanna. Everything that I've read by her, at least the halves of them, I've loved. So I need to finish a stinking Kristen Hanna book for one. I know that I'll like it. I've read that this is getting great reviews. I also got Dolly Alderton's Good Material. I love going to McNally Jackson. I think I bought this one and the Women from McNally Jackson, but this is signed. That's another reason why I got it. I don't know if I'll ever be able to meet Dolly Alderton. Came signed. I kind of love when bookstores have like extra copies of their signed books. I hate that like the Read with Jen stickers are like not stickers, they're literally on the cover, and we don't want that, but whatever. Fun cover. This is about a breakup. I've heard nothing but good things about all of her books. This is my 3rd book I have by her, and I've heard nothing but great things, so I'm excited to read that. Obviously, I bought Funny Story. I already read this. If you saw my vlog about it, I already read it. I really liked it. I started reading the physical copy and I started annotating it, but I ended up switching over to my Kindle. So I really don't have very many annotations in this, but I love this. I think I gave it like 4.5. Honestly, Emily Henry never disappoints. Like, I have never been disappointed by any of her books. So also this cover, it's like, is it blue? Is it purple? Is it blue? Is it purple? I don't know yet. It's like that blue gold dress thingy that swarmed the media or sparked this media debate years ago. It's like that. Is it blue? Is it purple? Who knows? It's beautiful. I recently bought The Ministry of Time. This is one of my most anticipated books of the year, and I need to start it soon. I just bought it like a couple days ago from McNally Jackson in Seaport. Again, the cover. Again, it's spanning times. There's time travel and different timelines, and it says a boy meets a girl, the past meets the future, a finger meets a trigger, the beginning meets the end. What? Sounds so good. Oh, even the GMA, they're not even stickers anymore. They're just printed on. Like, that's crazy. Crazy to me. So excited to read this. And then, of course, I bought 5 Broken Blades. Look at this. I love this so much. I love this. I'm telling you, there are, oh, wow. I haven't even opened the book. That's so sad. Look at this. Look at this artwork. Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Let the best liar win. Oh, I love books with like a cast of characters, like a motley crew trying to achieve something, kill someone, heist something. I love it. I love this. I love this so much. This is beautiful. So beautiful. So my friend sent me some books. I was reading the This Woven Kingdom series, and I read that earlier this year. So he actually sent me, my friend sent me the second book. I've already read it and annotated. He sent me the second book in the series, and then after that, I purchased the third book in the series. Oh, I didn't realize it was signed, but I already read this too. Oh, my tabs are still here. It's signed by Tahiri. Oh my God. I didn't even realize that. That's awesome, which is so funny because I met Ransom Riggs the other day, and I love that her dedication is for Ransom. I should have taken this book and shown him. I'm sure he knows, but I should have shown him that I like put the heart around like for Ransom. But I really love this series. I feel like people should be talking more about this series because it stars a djinn and a prince who is supposed to be king and clearly doesn't want to be king, and marriage possibly of convenience. And honestly, like, not a lot happens, but over 3 books, not a lot happens. It takes us a long time to get to the events in book 3. I think there's going to be 5 books, at least that's what I saw on Goodreads. But the writing in these books is so amazing, and the world is so expansive and immersive that I don't care that nothing happens. I just love being in the world and with the characters. So read this series. This is book 2 and book 3. Read the series. My friend also sent me Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar. Again, love the black edges. Oh, wow. Oh. See, you can tell I'm like opening these books for the first time. I didn't realize these like in the pages inside had that on them. That's amazing. I had really mixed feelings about getting this book, so I'm glad that my friend bought it for me because I am not a huge historical fiction reader, and I like Leigh Bardugo's writing and I like her as an author. I love Six of Crows. I like Shadow and Bone, but didn't love Ninth House. I don't really know how to feel about this, but I'm happy that I'm able to give it a chance. He also bought me this cute little book called A Wolf Steps in Blood. Now, I saw an Instagram post about this book, and it was kind of like, it just had the book and it had things about it, and one of the words said lesbians with like 3 exclamation points. And I love a queer black girl with a werewolf vampire kind of romance type thing. She's a small little thing, but I actually ended up buying the Kindle version of this because I was like, I need to read this book. And then my friend sent me the physical version, which I was literally like, how did you know? When? I don't know, I didn't even remember posting about this. So the next books are from publishers, books that publishers sent me either from like me being on a book tour or reaching out. So the first one I got is Annie Bott. She's also a small little thing. This is from Mariner Books. This one's cute. It says Annie Bott was created to be the perfect girlfriend for her human owner, Dove. Designed to satisfy his emotional and physical needs, she has dinner ready for him every night, wears the cute outfits he orders for her, and adjusts her libido to suit his moods. True, she's not the greatest at keeping Dove's place spotless, but she's trying to please him. She's trying hard. She's learning to. It is very much giving Clara and the Sun, but it says the powerful narrative drive of My Dark Vanessa, which I still have not been able to read that book. I've heard it's very rough to read. I think this book will be really interesting, and I love the idea of like women and robots learning, and it's scary robots taking over, but I think this is going to be a interesting exploration on like body autonomy and like ownership and things like that. So I think it'll be very interesting. I got this cute book called Summertime Punchline. Someone reached out and there was like a couple books that I could choose from, and I got this one and I got the villain edit. Summertime Punchline. I love this cover, and it's a hilarious and sweeping love story about a comedian forced to return to her Jersey Shore hometown, which is funny because I've been watching Jersey Shore Family Vacation, and confront everything she left behind 10 summers before, including the man who broke her heart. I think it looks cute. This is from Avon through HarperCollins. Same with the villain edit. This one is an irresistibly sharp and sexy dramedy about a cynical romance novelist who goes on the Bachelor-like reality show. I love things that have reality shows. To revive her flagging career, only to discover that while she may have just met the love of her life, the producers have turned her into the show's villain. I love this. I don't really watch The Bachelor, but I love The Bachelorette. You know, when you're younger and you watch these like reality shows, you have a different perception of them, but then when you get older, you kind of like, oh, some of this is scripted, or they're typecasting, or they are making this person out to be something that they're not. And I read Bachelor Nation, where we get all the behind the scenes stuff about The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and that really tore down the curtain of what was happening at The Bachelor and The Bachelorette for me. And I was like, wow, the producers are really kind of are the little puppet masters of the show. And I think this kind of take will be interesting to read it in a book of like, oh, someone's actually getting a villain edit and she's like, wait, I'm not like that. So this book actually sounds so good and I am really excited to read this. I also recently got, or actually bought this one. I realized it's called Here We Go Again. I bought this one recently when I went to McNally Jackson. This is another summer book that I want to read. It's called Here We Go Again by Allison Cochran. She also wrote Kiss Her Once for Me, and it's about these like two young girls that are childhood best friends, and I guess their English teacher passes away. No, he has only 5 months to live and they're forced to fulfill his last wish, a cross-country road trip. One, I love a road trip. Stuffed into the gayest van west of the Mississippi, the three embark on a life-changing summer trip from Washington State to the Grand Canyon, from the Gulf Coast to Maine, that will chart a new future and perhaps lead them back to each other. Oh, I guess they're rivals now. So they're childhood best friends to rivals. Oh, it's gonna be childhood best friends to lovers. Best friends to lovers is like my favorite thing. And I feel like this looks so good. I bought this recently and I'm so excited to read this. This one was sent to me by Avon again, I think from HarperCollins. And this one sounds so good. It's called Adam and Evie's Matchmaking Tour, another road trip kind of book. It's a rollicking, unforgettable romance about two strangers finding love despite their best efforts as they embark on a sweeping matchmaking tour through Vietnam, perfect for readers of Carly Fortune and Abby Jimenez. It's fun. It's through Vietnam. It's in Vietnam. I really like this cover. This is really cute. This is a very beautiful cover. It's like a painted beautiful by Nora Nguyen. This one sounds so good. I love a sports romance and I love baseball. Like I love baseball in general. And I got this book called You Should Be So Lucky by Kat Sebastian. And this is another queer romance. It's an emotional, slow burn, grumpy sunshine, queer romance between the new star shortstop stuck in a batting slump and the reporter assigned to reluctantly cover his first season. It takes place in the 1960s, which I think is really interesting because I don't really think I've read a book that's like taken place there, and it's a sports romance. And I realized Kat Sebastian writes books set in like older times, so like maybe the 60s, 50s. I think that they write some maybe Regency era stuff too. But I love baseball and I love a sports romance, so I'm really excited to read this one. And a couple of months ago I got sent Sunbringer. This is the second book in the God Killer series, Fallen Gods novel. I love this cover too. Literally this haul is just about books that have amazing covers. Clearly, because I've said that with every single book. I'm like, I love this cover. I haven't read the first one, so I don't really want to spoil anything for myself, so I'm not really gonna read the summary. Thank you to the publisher for sending me that. I also got this awesome book called Immortal Pleasures. Again, I love a vampire, we know that. And this is from Del Rey. Ancient Aztec vampire roams the modern world in search of vengeance and love in this seductive dark fantasy from the author of The Haunting of Alejandra. I heard that book was good, The Haunting of Alejandra, and this is their second book. This book is already out also. It came out April 16th, so it's already out. The other day, this past week, I was really fortunate enough to get invited to Penguin Teen Fall Preview event, which was really cool. We got to meet 5 authors or 6 authors, and we got copies of their latest book, art copies, and they got to sign them, and we got to bring like a couple copies of our own personal books. It was my first time kind of going to something like that wasn't like a festival, and I felt really special and honored to be there. These are the books that I got from that event. The first one is called The Bletchley Riddle. It's cool because we got to hear the authors talk about their book. I feel like when I get to hear an author talk about their books, it makes me want to read it even more if I didn't already want to read it before. So I'm excited to dig into these these new books that I got. So this one's called The Bletchley Riddle. This is by Ruta Septis and Steve Shinkin. Ruta spoke and she is so funny. Like she is very well spoken. She's hilarious. And Steve, he's normally a nonfiction writer, he said. So it was very interesting to hear about their writing process. And this one takes place in 1940 before the US enters like World War II, I guess. It talks about these code breakers, these like kids that were code breakers. Bletchley's top minds to crack the Nazi Enigma cipher. 14-year-old Lizzie embarks on a mission to solve the mysterious disappearance. So there's like a mystery and then she's like a code breaker. A code comes in and that has to do with like the disappearance of her mother. I also got Everything We Never Had. This is by Randy Ribeye. Intergenerational saga of Filipino-American boys grappling with identity, masculinity, and their fraught father-son relationships. It spans different timelines from 1930 to 1965, 1983 to 2020. I kind of been realizing I love books that span long timelines, and I feel like I should start looking into that more because I'm realizing I really like that when books do that. So I should look into books that span like generations. I think that would be interesting for me to read and explore more of. Then I got When the World Tips Over. This is by Jandy Nelson. She said it's her first book in like 10 years, but it sounds so good because she says it's a romance. The explosive, highly anticipated new novel, brimming with love, secrets, and enchantment. It says the Fall siblings live in hot Northern California, wine country where the sun pours out of the sky. Years ago, their father disappeared and it cracked their family into pieces. Road trips, rivalries, family curses, love stories within love stories within love stories, and sorrows and joys passed from generation to generation. This is the intricate, luminous tale of a family's complicated past and present, and only in telling their story can they hope to rewrite their future. She said that her original draft was like 1,500 pages, which I think is hilarious because now it's like 500 pages. I got one of my most anticipated books of the year, Heir by Sabaa Tahir. Oh my god, I love Sabaa Tahir. I love the Ember and the Ashes series. I did not realize that going to this event would mean that I would get an arc of Heir, and oh my god. We got to meet her and she is so lovely and so kind, and she signed our book. She signed this book, and she signed my copy of the last book in the Ember and the Ashes series because that's the only one I have here in New York. And I was so, when they handed this to me, I was like jaw dropping. I couldn't even believe it. But now she's mine and I'm so excited to read this. And it has like a cast of characters, like an orphan, an outcast, a prince, and a killer who will bring an empire to his knees. And we know Sabaa, she's gonna have romance, she's gonna have fantasy, she's gonna have killing, she's just gonna have so much high stakes and fantasy, and just like, oh, I cannot wait. As you can see, I'm very, very excited for this book. I also love Ransom Riggs. It's funny because this doesn't have a cover yet. I love Ransom Riggs. I love the Miss Peregrine series, and he is coming out with a new book that is not set in the Miss Peregrine series. It's just a whole new world for him, and it's called The Extraordinary Disappointments of Leopold Berry, Sunderworld Volume 1. And it does not have a cover, so it's like just a plain art. I love on the back, it says, "You've seen the peculiar, get ready for the extraordinary." I believe it's like subverts the chosen one trope, so I think that'll be interesting. It's funny because he signed it, which like I said, like we had signed copies. It's awesome. I brought my, I think the 5th book in the Miss Peregrine series, and I looked and I already had the 4th book signed by him. So I was telling him like, this is like one of the last books I need to get signed by you. I love his writing and I love his books, and I think it'll be interesting to go into a different world that's not Miss Peregrine, do something completely different. And he said it kind of subverts the chosen one trope, where it's like this person is like not the chosen one and he's not good at it either. He's trying to be extraordinary and he's not, because he just keeps disappointing himself and others. He also talked about like the friendships in the story, and I think that that'll be really, really sweet to read about. And last but not least, I also went to another event with Mariner Books where I got to meet Paula Hawkins, and she wrote The Girl on the Train, which is like, to me, the start, that and Gone Girl, like the start of the like domestic thriller era that we have been in for the last like 70,000 years. She has a new book coming out called The Blue Hour. It was at McNally Jackson and it was so cute because it was kind of like a mingling event. I'm not good at like mingling. I find it kind of awkward, and I will sit by myself if I have to. And it's like you're talking to strangers. I'm not one to do that as easily. Once things get like started, it's fine, but to initially start a conversation with someone's a little bit hard. I got to go to McNally Jackson and I met these other awesome Instagrammers, and we got to meet Paula Hawkins and talk to her and just have like a casual conversation with her, and we talked about movies and books, and I thought that was really fun. We also got a copy of her latest book, The Blue Hour, and I've already started reading it a little bit and I am invested. It comes out in October. She also signed it for us, which is again super cool. So this comes out in October, so I'm really excited to read that. That was it. I don't even know how many books that was. It had to be over 25. Okay, it's later in the day. I just got back from watching Babes and I took myself to McNally Jackson. So I thought, let me just add the books that I got today to this book haul video. I indulged at McNally Jackson and I got 5 books. I feel like every time I go to McNally Jackson, I can't help but get a book. I love McNally Jackson. They're right by my job. It's dangerous, honestly. So I got 5 books. The first book I got is called Rainbow Black by Maggie Thrash. The premise of this sounds so interesting. It says that Lacey Bond is a 13-year-old girl in New Hampshire growing up in the tranquility of her hippie parents' rural daycare center. Then the satanic panic hits. So it takes place in 1990. It's the summer of 1990. And her parents, I guess, get hauled off to jail. And a horrific murder brings Lacey to the breaking point. She makes a ruthless choice that will haunt her for decades. And so then it flashes forward to Lacey in her adult life and things are catching up with her. I got post-traumatic. I've seen this book for years and I've seen a couple of people reading it on Instagram. I've heard really great things about this, so I got it. I also got Powerless. I'm realizing that I have books 1 and 2 and I'm realizing I don't know if this is book 3. So I have Flawless, Heartless, and I have Powerless. So maybe this is number 3. For some reason I got scared and thought it was number 4. Then I got This Summer Will Be Different by Carly Fortune. I hope I vibe with her writing because I have Every Summer After and Meet Me at the Lake. Maybe I'll add this to my summer TBR. This Summer Will Be Different. I feel like a lot of her books take place in the summer. I don't know if Meet Me at the Lake does, but she seems like she has the perfect like summer read. This is her newest book too. I think this came out last Tuesday. So I hope I vibe with her writing because if I don't, that's gonna make me real sad because I have 3 of her books. So I hope I love them. I had talked about wanting to read multi-generational stories. And so I got Real Americans by Rachel Kong. The cover looks amazing. It starts out at the precipice of Y2K. It starts at that time and then it jumps to 2021. I am realizing, remember I said I like stories that have different timelines and I like opened it. The first little timeline is Beijing 1966. An exhilarating novel of American identity that spans 3 generations in one family and asks what makes us who we are and how inevitable are our futures. People say it's gripping and it sounds so good. I'm excited. So those are the only books I got. Now this is for sure the end of the video. If you made it this far and stuck around for this part, thank you so much and until next time, bye.